Good morning, grade 6. How are you all? I hope you're staying indoors and you're staying safe. Today, you're going to be doing Unit 3 Living Things and Their Environment. We're almost towards the end of the unit. The topic is conservation. It's from the course book pages 48 and 49, and you have a homework of workbook page 32 and 33. So, let's start. How many human activities have we learned that affect the environment? Farming. Farming is an activity which provides us food for our population, which is increasing every day. So farming is of many types: fruits and vegetable farming, cattle farming, poultry farming. For all these we need land, and when you need land we cut down the forest, so it's destroying habitats. The second is overfishing. Overfishing, that we eat fish from, we take fish from the sea, and this fish, when we fish more than our requirements, is called as overfishing. And we're doing overfishing, we tend to eat the meat and the food required for other animals also. So it's actually not giving them food, and then these animals, they don't have food, and then they eventually start becoming less, they become extinct. Introducing new species. When we introduce new species into our environment for our own benefit and we don't take control of them, then what happens is that these species, they start reproducing more and they take over the environment. For example, if you remember the crab which we talked about, it was introduced into America. It was introduced, the American crab, and then eventually now wherever it goes, it eats all the small fishes it has in the seas. Pollution. This is also the human activity. Pollution is of three types: land, air and water, and this is a result of our littering. We are using air, land and water. We are not keeping it clean, so this is what affects the environment. And last but not the least, cutting down trees. Deforestation. When we're cutting down trees to make furniture, we're cutting down trees for farming, we're cutting down trees to make places for us to live, we are killing the animals and the plants that are living there. So they're becoming extinct. So we're not maintaining the balance that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made for us on this beautiful earth. So these human activities are those which affect the environment. And the result of these human activities is acid rain. When we're having a lot of air pollution, we're burning coal, we're using fuels, all these gases, they go up into the air, they mix up with the water vapor in the air, and they start producing rain which is acidic. And this acidic rain is not good for us, it's not good for the plants, it's not good for the buildings, so it's not good for the whole environment. Second of all, global warming and climate change. When you're doing so much of pollution, when you're burning fossil fuels, when you're burning coal, when you're using too much cars, we're giving out carbon dioxide. Second, we are cutting down trees, and as a result, carbon dioxide increases more. More carbon dioxide in the air, the less heat will escape. It stays inside, it remains inside the earth. So it causes global warming and climate change. And because of climate change, now we are having winters which are not as cold as they were used to be before. The summers are hotter, the winters are getting less cooler, they're coming later. And last but not the least, or the topic that we had yesterday, is ozone depletion. Because of using chemicals, because of using equipments which produce chlorofluorocarbons, CFC'S, the ozone layer is getting thin. It's forming like a hole on the top of Antarctica. It's there even in the Arctic region. 5 days ago, they came to know that some of the Arctic in the North Pole part is also having thinning of the ozone. A small so-called hole is still forming there. So all this is happening because of human activities, because we are taking everything for granted. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has maintained the earth in a balance, but we are destroying the balance by doing things that we want, being selfish. We should not do that. What we can do to make things better is what we are going to study about today. Why should we take care of our environment? Well, because we have only one earth and we are living on it. And like how we keep our house clean, how we take care of our house, how we fix things which are spoiled in our house, the same way we should also fix the earth if it's getting spoiled. We should keep it clean, we should keep it beautiful, we should protect our resources. That means from where we get things like your wood and your water, we should protect it. And why? Because so that people coming in the next years, they can also enjoy the beauty of the earth. They can also live on the planet earth the same way that we are living. So what can we do to take care of our environment? We have to practice the 3 R's: reduce, reuse and recycle. Reduce the amount of plastic waste, reduce the amount of paper, reduce the amount of food wastage. We should only buy things that we need. Reuse, that means we continue on using things that we are using in our daily lives. For example, if you want to pass on your books and your clothes to your sister, a younger sister or brother, you can do that. The same way, if you don't have any sister or brother who are younger than you can give it to charity so somebody else can use it. You can keep on reusing your things properly and without wasting them apart. Then we need to recycle. Recycle like how we recycle the cans. We should recycle plastic bottles, like glass bottles, like paper. We should use both the sides of a paper in a book. Why? Because paper comes from trees. We're cutting down trees to make paper. The more we recycle, the more we reuse, the more we reduce, the better for the environment. So these 3 R's are one of the most important ways of taking care of our environment. We should use less energy. That means if you're not sitting in a room, you should try to switch it off, the buttons. You should try to conserve water. Make use of less water. Don't leave the taps open when you're brushing your teeth. Save electricity. If you're not watching your television, switch it off. If you're not sitting in a room, switch off your AC, switch off your lights. Don't leave your lights and AC on or fans on when you're leaving a room. These are all the ways of using less energy. And most of all, right now during the COVID-19 crisis, the UAE government has said that we should not be traveling outside without gloves and masks, and we should not be sitting more than 3 people in a car, and children especially should not be outside. We should not be leaving the house unless it is very important. But inshallah, as soon as this COVID-19 finishes, we should all try to ride bicycles, walk more, so we use less of petrol, which is bad for the environment. And we should also never leave our fridge doors open looking for food. Decide what you want to eat before, and then you open and then you take it out, because it's a fridge, it's not an AC. And we should always use environmentally friendly products. That means we should use products which don't have chemicals, which don't contain chlorofluorocarbons. Okay. What else can we do? We should pick up our litter. We should not drop our litter, because littering causes land, air and water pollution. Littering causes animals to die. Animals like camels, like tortoise, they don't know what they're eating. Birds also sometimes take in plastic food and they die. This causes the animals not to reproduce also, because if they're having all these things inside them, they won't be able to do so and they will die. They're causing problems for the animals and for us also, because if we are going to be eating these animals that eat plastic, we are also going to be having plastic in us. So we should take care. We should not throw rubbish here and there. We should properly dispose of it. Disposing of rubbish effectively is also one very important way of taking care of our environment. We bury the rubbish carefully in constructed landfill sites, as you can see in the diagram. The landfill sites are present all over the world. Even in UAE, there are many landfill sites for every emirate. Dubai has it towards Khwanij and Hatta areas. Abu Dhabi also has it towards its desert. The Bia company for Sharjah also has it towards the main desert area going towards Khurfakan. So there are many landfill sites and they're constructed almost in the same way that you can see in the diagram. They are waterproof liners that are present. They dig a hole deep inside, then they put waterproof liners inside so that the waste does not mix with the soil. The waste is compactly it inside. That means it's pressed very hard and inside the ground. And if there is any water in the waste, it is pumped out from the pipes that you can see. And there are also pipes on the top of the waste, so that if there is any gas which is produced from rotting of waste, rotting means if the waste gets spoiled, it gives rise to a very bad smell gas. That gas is called as methane. This methane gas can be collected and can be used in running cars, in natural gases. It's a very good gas, it's clean gas, it's energy efficient. And then most importantly, after the waste has been dumped, they put waterproof liners covering on the top also. And after covering from the top, so they cover the soil with grass. They grow grass and plants over it, so that if any animals are living there, they don't fall into the hole inside the landfill site. They can use the grass for eating, and it helps them to keep safe. So disposing of rubbish effectively is also a very important way of taking care of our environment. Another way of protecting the environment is to stop using chlorofluorocarbons. Even though after the Montreal Pact was signed, there are still some people who have you use spray cans which have CFCs. There are still some equipment that is more than 40-50 years old, which like fridges and air conditioners will still keep on producing chlorofluorocarbons, and there are fire extinguishers, they are pesticides which we use in farms, which can spoil the ozone layer, because when we're going to use these things, chlorofluorocarbons or CFCs are going to be produced, and these CFCs will go up into the air, react with the ozone layer in the presence of sunlight and start making it thin. So what we should do is that before we buy things, we should check the labels if CFC is present. Then electronic appliances like fridges and air conditioners, which we should not use them always. Fridge, yes, you should leave them, but you should buy new fridges as compared to the old ones. Old ones like those which are 50-60 years old, you should not keep those. You should buy new ones because they are safer for the environment. The air conditioners, we should not leave them open. We should switch it off when they are not in use. Okay, and we should buy energy efficient appliances like fluorescent bulbs, like the normal bulbs that we have in a house. You have energy saving bulbs. Those also very good because those do not emit CFCs. And the best thing is that we should plant trees, as they absorb UV rays greatly and they protect the environment. So all these things help to stop ozone depletion. If we want to take care of our environment and we don't want the CFCs to increase and we don't want the ozone layers to become bigger and climate change to happen and get problems for us and for the other animals and plants, we should stop using things which contain CFCs. What is conservation? The topic's heading. Okay. Conservation means to take care of the environment and help other species to survive. So till now we have been learning of ways of conserving, and now we are going to be learning more ways of conserving. That means we are going to learn how to conserve by planting more trees, stop people from cutting down trees. And the UAE government is very specific about this. They are planting trees, and recently in February in our school also participated in planting the gaf tree. There were students of grade 4, 5 and 6 who planted the gaf tree because it is very good for medicinal value. It's good for providing shade, and we need the country to be having a good climate, and it helps the environment. So conservation means to take care of the environment and help other species to survive, and one of the best way is to plant more trees. What can we do to care for the environment? One more thing today. Protect wildlife and their habitat. We should stop people from collecting and cutting the wild plants, because wild plants are supposed to live in their own habitat. And we should stop people from hunting animals for their skin and tusk. There are many animals like tigers and snow leopards and elephants who are hunted just for their skins. And elephants, they remove the tusk. The rhinoceros, they remove the horns. And because they kill and cut down trees. Animals like pandas, they cannot live, and orangutans also. So people should be not allowed to cut down trees, kill animals. They should not be allowed to remove animal skin after killing them just for their own houses, for decoration or for making clothes. This is not good. Animal fur is not good to wear because it kills an animal just for the fur. People kill an animal just for the fur, and it's very expensive, and it's not good actually. It's actually not good. Would you like anybody to wear your skin? No. So, and we should also not allow wild animals to be kept as pets. You know, even in the UAE government, they don't allow these big animals like anacondas. Some people have kept them. They remove them from their houses and they take them to the wildlife reserves. You should not be allowed to keep animals as pets because their place is supposed to be the jungles, in their own houses. It's not correct to keep them inside your house. They need open space to live in. The UAE government has taken a lot of effort to protect wildlife and their habitat. Animals that are found in the UAE like hubaras, like falcons, like Arabian oryx, like camels, like Arabian fox, the desert wolf, and the gazelles and falcons and hubaras and camels, they all try to protect it. The UAE government had made a special plan for protecting all these wildlife and plants from mangroves. So they have made conservation centers and national parks where plants and animals are allowed to grow and reproduce. Can you see in the pictures how an Arabian oryx is standing? This is a picture of the Al Ain Zoo. If you could see a picture of having the Burj Al Khalifa behind. This is a picture of Ras Al Khor Sanctuary. Then you have many other sanctuaries, Al Wahaba Wetland. Then you have Dubai Desert Conserve. I'll be showing you all the names. And whenever this virus, inshallah, it finishes fast, you can go to these reserves. You can see how the government has taken care of these animals there. The reserve and national parks are some of them: Dubai Desert Conservation Reserve, the Al Ain Zoo, Ras Al Khor Wildlife Sanctuary, Al Wahaba Wetland Reserves, Emirates Parks and Resorts. Now you see, flamingos are not found in the summers here. They only come in the winters. So in Ras Al Khor Wildlife Sanctuary and Al Wahaba Wetland Reserve, there are a lot of flamingos coming from the South Pole and coming and getting the food from here. So we protect them. We don't spoil them. We don't capture them. We don't eat them. We take care of them. The UAE government is very specific and very stern and strict about it. We should take care of our environment by protecting the wildlife.
In a country that's about 80% desert, you might be surprised to find a green valley of this size in the UAE. This is the country's first national park. Residing in the Emirate of Fujairah, it's home to the first protected mountain range. It covers 129 square kilometers and is called Wadi Wari'a, after the tall marsh plant known as wara', which flourishes in its wetlands. The sound of splashing water behind me comes from the UAE's only natural waterfall. Located within the Hijar mountain range, although small, it nourishes the area's wetlands, streams, and also unique wildlife. The valley has 208 plant varieties, birds like the green bee-eater, plus 24 kinds of dragonflies. Yet some wildlife has become extinct. Animals such as the native Arabian leopard and gazelle have been wiped out due to hunting and habitat degradation, with their last recorded sighting in the wild more than a decade ago. To help regenerate the valley and its animal population, areas of the natural reserve have been closed to the public since 2006, with no official date yet announced for the reopening. Leading the conservation effort is Ali Al-Hammoudi. He took me to the pinnacle of the wadi where rubbish and graffiti used to cover the rocky enclosures.
To overcome the situation, we used hidden cameras to watch the reserve and the activity of people entering the reserve. And thank God, we stopped most of the challenges from hunting and cutting weeds, and 98% of the writing on rocks and mountains was removed.
Just last year, the site became internationally recognized by UNESCO as a biosphere reserve, one of 33 among Arab states, with areas designated for research and conservation practices. It is also now home to this breeding center for the endangered indigenous Arabian tar, a stocky brown relative of the goat. French researcher Jacques Juda has been working at Wadi Wari'a since 2013. He says it's a place which has plentiful natural resources that protect local animals, and large ones in particular, in every season, even the hottest.
This wadi is one of the only place in the whole UAE where you still have water all year long.
According to Dr. Juda, the valley's natural water supply is under threat from humans, who are constantly reshaping the landscape with buildings and dams. This construction threatens to affect the wildlife.
The effect of the lowering of the water table might have some effect on the overall food chain in the wadis, which might be translated by a decrease of breeding success and even on survival of many species living in these wadis.
The 19 square kilometer Abu Dhabi Mangrove National Park is home to species including the mottled crab and western reef heron. And to the southwest of the capital is Surbaniyas, an 87 square kilometer island and wildlife park, with thousands of free-roaming creatures, from the UAE's national animal, the Arabian oryx, to giraffes, cheetahs, and gazelles. In Abu Dhabi's neighboring emirate, and surrounded by the urban jungle of Dubai City, is the Ras Al Khor Wildlife Sanctuary. Established in 1985, it's an open-air home for up to 25,000 migratory birds, including grey herons and cormorants in the winter. It became a UNESCO Ramsar site in 2007, designating it a wetland of international importance. Flamingos are fond of these waters, and tourists can look on from bird hides at the graceful interactions of the long-legged creatures as they are fed twice daily. The sanctuary is a pocket of biological diversity for 180 types of birds and 47 kinds of plants. The hope is that in the coming years, projects of this kind will attract more visitors and help the UAE move up from its position of 77th on the global 2018 Environmental Performance Index.
I hope you like the video about how UAE government is taking care of its plants and animals, how they're conserving, building the sites, how they are taking care of the environment. So we should also keep this in mind, and with this we should start doing our copybook work. So open your course book, page number 48, and your copybook also. Write the date, write the page number, write the unit number, unit 3, page number 48, topic conservation. And what is conservation? I just explained to you earlier. Conservation is means of taking care of the environment and helping other kinds of living organisms or living things to survive. Question number 2. Explain how a landfill site shows in the diagram that I showed you before, helps wildlife to survive. Check your answer. Pollutants cannot escape to the waterproof liner, so the animals living near the site will not be harmed. Correct? If you've written this, that's a very nice idea that came to you. And the second point is, water from the site is treated to make it safe, and soil and grass is covered in the rubbish, preventing most animals from coming in contact with it. So if there are animals and plants living nearby, if we will remove the water, we can use the water by treating, and we can use it for planting. If we're going to cover it with soil and grass, so no animal is going to come in direct contact with the rubbish and they cannot fall down. And most of all, by waterproofing the landfill, there is not going to be any liquid coming out of the landfill which is going to be harmful for the plants and animals. So these are the 3 ways by which it's safe for the animals. The landfill sites are made safe. So now I want you to open your course book, page 49, and copy question number 3. Describe 2 reasons why we should not try to cut down forest. We have done many reasons now. Let's see any 2. I'll try to give you 3. If you can come up with any more, that's also very good. Cutting down trees destroy habitats for which plants and animals are adapted, so they may die or they may have to move to another place. That's one, that is deforestation. Second, if trees are burned, then this will add carbon dioxide to the atmosphere, which will make the earth warmer. Number 3, Trees also take carbon dioxide from the air to use in photosynthesis. So fewer trees means there is more carbon dioxide. More carbon dioxide means less heat goes outside and the earth gets hotter. So on this note, students, I hope you have a great day. I hope you enjoy the video about conservation sites in the UAE. If we were not in COVID-19 state, then we would have made a small activity present on page number 49. But do your homework on activity book pages 32 and 33. It's like English comprehension. You have to read the comprehension passage and you have to answer. So hope to see you soon on Wednesday for your online classes, and read the lesson before you come, and if you have any doubts, write it down. I'll be explaining it to you on Wednesday. That means today. Okay, so take care of yourself and be good. Goodbye.